You said you did things. You took broadcasting more seriously. You went back to school. I saw you on the new Celebrity Apprentice.
Yeah.
This is after Donald Trump
Yeah.
leaves Celebrity Big Brother. Are these things that you were doing to earn a living, or are these things you were doing? Look, I'm finally free. I'm not playing anymore. I just want to do things that inspire me, things that I can have fun with. And in your, in your own words, you said life is about the experiences. Is this why you chose to go on some of these shows?
So my goal, as I left the NFL, okay, my goal was to live a life where I get paid for being myself. Okay. And one of the things that I love to do is I love to learn. And so when the Celebrity Apprentice opportunity came up, I knew that my future was going to be starting some kind of business, but I didn't know anything about business. And so I figured, doing Celebrity Apprentice would give me an opportunity, one, to raise money for a charity that I was very passionate about, two, an opportunity to learn about business, and three, it just would be a cool, new, interesting experience. And so, I mean, that's really my decision making, right? Is this going to be interesting? Is this going to fit into my schedule? And then third, am I going to get, compensated for my time? And if something checks all three of those, I say yes to it.
Got you. You were briefly a spokesperson for the drug Paxil. What is that drug, and what made you make that decision?
So Paxil is a drug that I was prescribed for social anxiety disorder. And so back in New Orleans, this is right after I broke my ankle my second year in New Orleans, and I was at my low point where I was starting, I wasn't playing football and I was hurt, so I had a lot of free time, so I was starting to do a lot of self-reflection. Okay, and as I was reflecting on my life, I was realizing that most of my relationships, didn't feel very good to me. And first I started blaming other people, and then I realized that I was the common denominator. And so I started doing some inner kind of work and paying more attention to myself. And I realized I wasn't happy and I didn't want to be around anyone. And one day I was at home watching a commercial for Paxil, and it was listing all these symptoms for social anxiety disorder. And as I saw that commercial, I was like, yes, 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 yes. And so I called up a friend of mine and I said, I think I have social anxiety disorder. Do you have any recommendations of someone I can start to talk to? And so I got into therapy, and the therapist said something that can really help people struggling with social anxiety disorder is this drug called Paxil. And so she prescribed Paxil, and I started taking it, and I don't know if it was just the drug or the fact that I was actually working on myself, but I started to feel better. And I did a story on Fox Sports talking about this, and Paxil or GlaxoSmithKline reached out to my manager and said, we'd like to hire Ricky to speak to doctors about his experience with Paxil. And so I agreed. And so we did a deal. I think they paid me $500,000. And I spent the next year traveling to cities, talking to doctors about my experience with Paxil.
Beautiful. You later quit Paxil. It's quoted that you said cannabis just works much better for you in treatment. Is that correct?
Yeah, because so as I was talking to doctors and doing this work with GlaxoSmithKline, I learned about drugs. I mean, at that point, I didn't know anything. And I learned that the issue with Paxil is people will take the Paxil because it regulates their mood. But if they're not doing any kind of therapy, then it's just masking the symptoms. And so I was doing therapy, but what I found with cannabis is it didn't mask the symptoms. It helped me do better reflection. I noticed when I would smoke marijuana, I would just sit and think about my life and think about corrections I could make that would feel better to me. And so I found that with cannabis, I was doing self-psychotherapy, and I was getting better faster than with the Paxil and the regular therapy. And
Amazing.
So I stopped taking Paxil, and I started using cannabis.
And I'm assuming you use cannabis to this day.
I do, yeah. I still use cannabis.
How often, if you mind me asking?
I go through phases. Sometimes I'm a daily smoker. Sometimes I don't smoke at all. Sometimes it's just at night. It just kind of depends. It just kind of depends what's going on in my life.